Okay, in this video we're going to be looking at a method for multiplying fractions. Hopefully it's going to make your life slightly easier. What we've covered before is when you just multiply the two numerators and the two denominators together, and then at the end you simplify. In this case we're going to kind of simplify as we multiply out, making the numbers we're timesing together a bit smaller and hopefully making it easier for ourselves. Okay, so the first question we're going to look at is going to be 5/8 times 2 thirds. Okay, now as usual, I'm going to write this out as we did before. So we've got 5 times 2 over 8 times 3. So we want to look for any numbers on the top and bottom that share a factor. Okay, so do any of the bottom numbers share a factor with 5? No. Do any of the bottom numbers share a factor with 2? Well, 2 and 8 both have a factor of 2. So that means I can cancel this 2 and this 8 down. So I can divide this 2 by 2 and divide this 8 by 2. So divide this 2 by 2 will give us 1. Divide this 8 by 2 gives us 4. Okay, let's have another look. Anything that shares a factor with 1 now, well, 1 is as simplified as we can go, so we don't need to worry about that. And we've already looked at 5. Okay, so now we can do 5 times 1 gives us 5, and 4 times 3 gives us 12. Okay, so the answer to 5/8 times 2 thirds is 5/12. Okay, just to double check, let's do it with the old method. So we've got 5/8 times 2 times 3. 5 times 2 gives us 10. 8 times 3 gives us 24. And you can see now we can simplify this. We would divide the top and bottom by 2, which is what we did in our working out here. So divide the top by 2 would give us 5. Divide the bottom by 2 would give us 12. Okay, so you can see that we've kind of carried out the same calculation. It's just, I mean, in this case, our numbers were quite small, so it wasn't too bad. But if you have really big numbers, you can make your life a lot easier by cancelling out at this stage rather than at this stage, because finding common factors of two really big numbers can be quite difficult. All right, let's have a look at another example then. We're going to have 3 tenths times by 5 over 12. Okay, now again I can write this as 3 times 5 over 10 times 12. Okay, so straight away we've got to look for common factors at the top and bottom. So does 3 have a common factor with anything at the bottom? Yes, it's got a common factor with 12. They're both in the 3 times table. So we can divide them both by 3. 3 divided by 3 give us 1. 12 divided by 3 would give us 4. Okay, well this has gone down to a 1 now, so we don't even need to consider it anymore. Does any of the numbers on the bottom share a factor with the 5? They're both 10 and 5 are in the 5 times table, so we can divide them both by 5. 5 divided by 5 is 1. 10 divided by 5 is 2. So now we have to do 1 times 1, which is 1, and 2 times 4, which is 8. Okay, now you could, as we said before, multiply these together and then simplify. You just have to spot the common factor, which in this case would be, what did we divide by 3 and we divided by 5? So it would be a common factor of 15 you'd have to find, which unless you're really confident with your 15s timetable, it may take a couple more steps. Right, let's have a look at one more example before we end. We're going to have, this time, 3 fractions multiplied together. We're going to have 3 over 8 multiplied by 5 over 9 multiplied by 16 over 25. Right then, so it's going to be quite a bit of cancelling down we can do here. So I'm going to just rewrite this as we have been doing. All the numerators times together, all the denominators times together. Right then, so we're looking for common factors of any of these that share a common factor with 3. Well, 3 and 8 don't share any. 3 and 9 are both in the 3 times table, so we can cancel that one down. Let's do that. Divide by 3 will give us 1. Divide by 3 will give us 3. That's down to a 1, so we don't need to worry about that anymore. Let's have a look at 5. Any of these share a factor with 5? Well, 8 doesn't. 3 doesn't, 25 does. So this can be divided by 5 and this can be divided by 5. 5 divided by 5 is 1. I'm going to put my 1 above it. 25 divided by 5 is 5. This is a 1 again, so we cannot go any further. Next up, let's look at this 16. Does it share a common factor with any of these at the bottom? Well, 16 and 8 are both in the 8 times table. So we can do 16 divided by 8 gives us 2. And 8 divided by 8 gives us 1. So now the calculation that we're doing is 1 times 1 times 2 over 1 times 3 times 5. So hopefully you can see that rather than multiplying all these out and then looking for loads of factors, this calculation here has been made really easy for us. So 1 times 1 is 1, then 1 times 2 is 2, 1 times 3 is 3, 3 times 5 is 15. We get a fully simplified answer of 2/15. If you multiplied all this out, you'd have to find common factors and keep cancelling it down. You could still get there, but it would just take you a bit longer and there'd be more places for you to make mistakes. Okay, so this has been multiplying two fractions together and cancelling down as we do the calculation.